Alright, I've been trying to figure out some way to start this, but they're doing the haka up at Standing Rock, and they're not just now, after how many years trying to figure out a way to fix the Facebook fake news problem. So a few days ago, I saw two things online. A video by Philosophy Tube about the election, link in the description box below. In it, he discussed actually how, in the grand scheme of things, economic policies don't really matter, and in fact, breaking it down to a single good versus evil conflict is far better. This reminded me also of an article I read earlier that day, also in the description box below, imploring Bernie Sanders not to do with way of identity politics. And that right there, it is the point, because getting to the bottom of most of the movement of the right was against so-called PC culture. I mean, literally, reporters would ask Trump supporters if they what why did they vote for him, and they actually went on about his economic policies, and then they would ask, okay, what are his economic policies? They him and haw, and the reporter would get pressing and pressing, and then finally they would just come out and say, oh, he's fighting against PC gone mad and whatnot. Okay, currently right now we live in an era where people are trying to essentially face the danger, not the dangers, but the face identity politics. There, we just recently had a thing where we were we're fighting against a law that would go on the books that's essentially preventing transgender people from going into their proper bathrooms. And the idea behind that was, well, some guy would put on a dress, go into the women's room, and make a woman. Well, considering that most transgender women that I have seen actually look like women, and unfortunately, all that would break down is you would actually have a very large, burly guy end up in the women's restroom, and a fairly effeminate woman will not end up playing with all your homophobic and pedo hunt peers. Oh, let's slap the bow and do absolutely jacked shit. Anyways, also the concept of safe spaces, trigger warnings, and a lot of people are going, oh, Trump being president will get rid of all this. Herein lies the problem. We're trying to prevent black people from getting shot, prevent these certain other things from happening, and you're worried because as we remind you that the Jews don't run the world. So yeah. And actually, Diff Coughlin actually pointed this out. It's the type of people who actually talk about this stuff and claim that there's PC gun, like themselves Lenny Bruce. Unfortunately, Lenny Bruce was ostracized for material that in today's sphere would be actually considered quite vanilla. And it was actually, and it's not really the fact that he was using profanity. It was actually the content. There's a reason why Bruce was called had one of Bruce's core appearances was stated to be kind of like one of his jokes, in that he was called for pretty much set up for indecency. He was brought to trial. Well, it turns out he said a joke about Catholics. It was the day after Ash Wednesday, and had little charcoal stains on their heads because they went to service. Like I said, it wasn't so much what he said, but what he said. All right. And in truth, due to the battles that liberals and young people and the college educated had been fighting over for the last 30, 40 years, we actually now have a platform, and you voted in people who want to pretty much tear all of that apart. Bra fucking O. I mean, and so it is. And so here we are. Identity politics, i.e. racism, sexism, gender bias, pro-and anti-religious extremism. This should be what our main platform is. It should be the evil progressives, liberals, socialists, socialist democrats, democratic socialists, anarchists, and whatnot should fight back against. They started it, we finished it. I mean, we need to state quite clearly, hey, these things are wrong. And in truth, I'm reminded of a quote, paraphrasing, I'm not going to look it up right now, from Neil Gaiman, that stated, pretty much he stated that his life, things were put into sharper focus when he replaced the term politically correct with basic human decency. And once you put that in perspective, guys like Milo Yiannopoulos are provocateurs. Guys like Sargon of Akkad aren't great intellectuals. Bill Maher, he has some points, but they're just giant babies bitching about not being called out for being assholes straight up. I mean, actually, over the last few months, I've gotten to the point where if anybody starts bitching about PC culture, or I rightly point out that they probably got called an asshole on the internet, and that's the rub. It's the reason why we need to fight with identity politics, not economics. I mean, we can do the economics once we get in there, but if we just stick to economics, it's not going to work. It's a game over. We're not going to be able to win. And I think we know this. Also, I want to get to Dr. King's dream, where we are based on our merits, and where even in Stone Mountain, we live to be free. Okay? This is me, screaming off into the void. Catch you next time.